Hey everybody, Gary with Basecamp Trading. Let's take a look at the ES futures today. This is our 240-minute chart, and actually first thing this morning we triggered in a 240-minute bull flag. And at that time things were looking a little more bullish. Our momentum was still positive. We had pushed higher, set up the bull flag, triggered that, looking for another leg higher, maybe into new all-time highs. But what ended up happening was this ended up being a failed 240-minute bull flag. Failed bullish often turns bearish, and you can see we had weakness throughout the afternoon in the ES. Nice, in fact, a pretty nice push down that we were able to take advantage of. This is our 30-minute chart. And then right in here this morning, this is where we were making that push higher. We triggered in that bull flag, but you can see it was a sloppy move up. See all these wicks? That, price was just back and forth, back and forth. Yes, drifting higher, but not with real conviction. A move with conviction are just, candles left to right, 45-degree angle, bam, bam, bam. And you can see just lots of up and down movement. Wicks on both ends of these candles, showing somewhat of a lack of conviction on this move higher. We put in the reversal doji right here. Reversal doji is where the high of the bar is higher than the previous bar. The next bar actually triggered it to the downside, but again, price was pretty sloppy in here, but we did slowly work our way lower. 5 and 13 crossed to the downside. Momentum went bearish. And then when we came into the afternoon session, we were talking about how the ES futures was looking weak. We were looking to trade the weakness in the ES futures this afternoon. Well, right in here is where Fed Chairman Powell started speaking. And he gave a little pep talk that kind of boosted the markets temporarily. And then so we ended up making this push down. He started talking, left the big bottoming tail, and actually made a little push up. But then after he was done talking, reality set in, and we actually set up a bear flag. And this was a good setup bar. Long topping tail. The body of the bar was selling because this bar opened right here at the bottom of this bar. Or I'm sorry, this bar opened at the top of this bar. And again, all selling. And the body of that bar was also all selling. And it closed underneath significant support. You know that the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA are very often significant lines of support and resistance. In fact, you can see since the overnight session last night how many times we bounced off the 50. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times, 14 times. We went under it, back above it, under it, back above it, under it, back above it. Finally got a close right here, went back above it again, tested, closed underneath it again, and then triggered in this 30-minute bear flag. We had bearish momentum, 30-minute bear flag. So this has us looking to the downside. Still real choppy though. We left this bottoming tail, topping tail. Yes, this flag triggered in, but not real conviction on this initial move down. You can see it pushed down and then came back up. Next bar open actually came back up, tested the 50 EMA, did a last kiss, and then the market started to move lower. And we were able to take advantage of this move to the downside. You can see actually broke underneath the 200, but again, these markets have serious separation anxiety with these major moving averages. Broke underneath it, but then we had to come back above it again, and then ended up closing underneath by the end of the day. The way we were taking advantage of this movement was on our Renko chart. And then you can see right in here, this was actually where we were having that sloppy move to the upside. Remember this morning, or how I was mentioning that we were moving higher, but it was a real sloppy move higher? Well, you can see what I'm talking about. Look at all this up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down movement. Yes, it drifted higher, but it was a really sloppy move up. And then here's where we started to come lower. And again, I was mentioning how we were moving down kind of sloppy. You can see what I'm talking about. Look at all this back and forth, up and down movement. Well, then we came in to the afternoon session, and we had, this is where Powell was talking, because we were working our way lower. Fed Chairman Powell started talking, and we pushed up. The markets kind of liked what he said, and we made this move back higher, and then we moved back lower and started pivoting again. So we put in our channel lines. This was our significant pivot low. This was our significant pivot high, and you can see we were just pivoting inside here. But that 30-minute chart was looking weak. Our momentum was bearish. Our price action was bearish. We had closed underneath the 50 EMA, which was a significant support zone. But we were chopping, I mentioned earlier that that was kind of messy even when we broke the 50 the first time. But then we started working our way lower, and then we finally broke out of compression, ran stops, nothing unusual there, pulled back, and made this wick off the 18 trade right here. That wick off the 18 triggered. Next bar closed underneath our initial compression zone, and then we proceeded to make a really nice move to the downside. We came down in here, hit our target, consolidated a little bit because we'd hit significantly undervalued on our 30-minute chart, consolidated a little bit, and then it pushed a little lower into the close. But this was a nice compression breakout trade right here. The wick off the 18 entry would have been at 38.03 or 38.0275, somewhere in that area. Our target was down here at 37.92 and a quarter. We actually had one at 30.80 and a quarter, and then we had one at 95 and then 92 and a quarter. We pushed down. We actually broke a little under that even. We actually went as low as 90.75, but ended up taking it off at that 92 and a quarter zone right there. But still, a nice, fairly stress-free, one little pullback right there, but not much of one. Trend Pro 2.0 had us in the trade, and we took that right on down into target. So we were able to grab, or you at least had the potential to grab at least $500 per contract on this compression break in the ES this afternoon.